to the next level.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, Editor-in-Chief of Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Today is our Authors Network Spotlight. We have a few of our contributing writers who are published authors, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk to you a little bit about just how to create the writer's environment, and we're going to give you some tips and tools that you need to be able to step out there and become a published author yourself. So taking center stage with me on the Own It Magazine and Publishing platform is, hey, good morning, Teresa. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, evening, or even the next day. Welcome wherever you are.
And hello, Jeffrey. What's going on, man? Welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, I am so excited today to dig into just the author's journey. But before we dig in, I would love for you, we're going to start with you, Teresa. Please introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your writing journey and what you got going on out there.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Tiffany. I'm Teresa Palmer, and I am a nurse practitioner, or advanced practice nurse, as it's called. My expertise is holistic cardiology, and I've been doing that for about 3 decades. And what I do is I say I'm a nurse who connects patients to their heart, or connects individuals to their heart. So I have a program that is now going to be called Heart Consciousness, and I'm actually going to launch it formally as an online course, because I've been doing it with my patients informally for close to 30 years. And what that is, it's a mind, body, spirit. It's bridging the Eastern metaphysical, spiritual, medical tradition with our traditional Western medicine. So people get the best of both worlds, and that's physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I call it, the components of it are breathe, be still, and connect. And you could actually have better outcomes, even with cardiac conditions, by doing things to help yourself. And I always believe that there's always something that we can do to help ourselves. My book that's out right now is called Heal Your Heart from Within. And it's available on Amazon.com, Balboa Press, Books A Million, and Barnes & Noble. And it's kind of a precursor to what I'm going to be doing with my second book, which is going to be called Heart Consciousness. I think the title is going to be Taking Your Heart Health to the Next Level. So this is kind of a primer. It was originally written in 2020 because people needed to learn how to take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that trend has continued, where we're getting more conscious of self-awareness, self-care. So this book, my book that's out now, is certainly a good guide and a self-care guide. And it does go into a lot of the tools and the information that I give my patients, but I am also looking to expand on that to make it more comprehensive, because heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. It's 5th globally. And these statistics, it's projected that by 2045, 50% of Americans will be diagnosed ages 20 and over with some form of heart disease or heart condition. So That's where I'm at.
Wow. Thank you so much, Teresa. Wow. Oof. Scary numbers, guys. All right. Let's go to you, Jeffrey.
All right, thanks for having me here again. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So what up, though, everybody? Author, musician, journalist, CEO, and host. Jeffrey L. Edwards of the JLE brand. Have 3 shows that I do Friday and Saturday. I do 2 interviews, Fridays at 8 and Saturdays at 7. Help you find a purpose. I do a sports show at 9:30, talk a lot of trash. And Saturday at 9, we do social discussion with a panel, talk about everything going on in the world. My latest book I have out now is J.L. Lee's Daily Devotionals. It's a book of 365 days quotes, so you can empower yourself to find your why and be the best version of yourself. I think it's a great book for you to check out and help you through this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So, being an author is a lot, right? And it definitely does take a lot of courage to get out there and, share our thoughts and really be able to, share these words of empowerment. So when when you are writing, you have to really create the right environment, right? You can't be like right now I'm going through a move. So it's very hard for me to be able to sit down and write something, right? I need to go outside and maybe, for myself, I need to be in nature. And I love being around the water. Like if I can hear water, especially the ocean, I can sit down and write. I mean, in anything. So, what's your writing environment like? What have you created so because you all are published authors, so you have that environment already to help you to get there, successfully. So, Teresa, let's start with you. What does your environment, your writing environment look like? What have you created for yourself?
As you said, it's very important to have an environment. And it's important because we're all energy. And that's where I'd like to start, because our bodies, everything around us, if you look at everything, it's energy. So you have to contain, not only create, but contain that energy. And there's certain spaces, and you have to develop that space for yourself. For me, it was the creation. I too love to be outside. I live on a lake, which is nice, but the weather's not always great. So a lot of times it's not conducive to what I wanted to do. So I created a space in my bedroom. It's actually behind me, and it's a little office space. And what I have is a desk and a chair, and I have things that represent who I am, whether it be pictures. I have a couple statues, I even have some gems and some crystals, some different things. And that's my environment that harnesses my energy. So when I sit down in that space, I do nothing but write. I may not have an idea at that point what I'm writing. Excuse me. It may just be ideas, but it's contained in that space, and that's where the energy of writing for me is contained and flourishes. It doesn't mean that you can't go other places. I could certainly go out to the lake if the weather's nice. I can certainly go to a Starbucks, a restaurant, anything. But you really have to have a specific place that's yours, that contains that energy, that helps you to create, because we have to be in a space and utilize energy. So we have to take in energy and contain it. And that could be done in specific places. Of course, if you're moving, if there's a move going on, if there's things, then you change that space. So you also need to be flexible with it, because you may not always have that space. But always know that you need a specific place that you call your writing nook or your writing space, where this is your creative juices start to flow with writing.
Awesome. Thanks, Teresa. What about you, Jeffrey? What is your writing environment like?
Writing is like writing a song. So I be in my dining room because everything gives me an idea for a song. So I have some workout equipment around if I need to just work out. I have my keyboard if I want to play the piano for a minute, relax my mind, because I might have an idea, but no idea where I want to go with it. So I might get on the keyboard, close my eyes, just start making those melodies. And then I relax to actually get to the work of writing to where, okay, I want to tell this story and let's see where we go.
Love it. Love it. Very good. Well, everyone, again, it's so important to have that writing environment. And like Teresa said, make that space yours, right? And I love, Jeffrey, how, you have, some workout equipment, you've got, some music there, because all those things definitely do help you to, to invoke those, the creative juices, right? When you do a little working out, those endorphins start to flow. And that, right? So I love that. So that actually takes me into the next question, which is, do you guys have, those physical, habits or rituals like stretching, walking, to counteract that, sedentary routine, right? Because when you're in that writing mode, you're usually, you have to sit down, right? So you might be sitting down for hours, just plugging away because, because those words are just coming and just, and just flowing. So, so what does it look like? I know I will do some stretches, things like that. I've learned actually to even do some chair yoga, which is something new. And I absolutely love it because it really does, help me to just stretch and just feel, good when I actually come back. Because if I'm sitting here for too long, I will start to cramp up. And then the creative juices start to stop flowing because now I don't feel good. So, Teresa, let's start with you.
What I do is, first off, I set a certain amount of time aside to sit at my desk in my space and let ideas come to me and write down whatever those ideas are. I'm also a fan of a pad and paper. And there's probably people out there saying, oh my God, what's a pad and paper? What is that? And it's simply in order to really get things flowing. There's nothing wrong with computers, but I know there's been some research, I can't cite it because I don't remember the sources, which say that actually physically writing something with a pen and paper makes those ideas real, that they come to life. So that's what I'll do. I'll jot down, then I'll take a break. So if I'm not having any type of what you would call a creative block, then maybe I'll do some yoga. I always start with some yoga, with some meditation. If I'm having a problem and those ideas just won't come, like writing for the magazine, sometimes I know what I want to write, but then I want to put it in a way that's really accessible and interesting to people, especially if it's a subject that could be a little bit more dry. So then I take a walk. So what I'll do is I'll take a walk and I don't think about the writing. I don't think about anything. I do a moving meditation. So I'm being present in the moment, looking at what's around me, the birds, the insects, what's ever around, the hills, anything. And then that will clear my mind. Right now, it's a little chilly here. I think with the wind chill, it's about 6 degrees in Alabama, 6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is highly, highly unusual. But I probably will try to go out there and at least take part of a walk before I freeze to death to get those juices flowing. So to me, it's really important to set a certain amount of time aside to actually start my writing. And that's before I do social media or anything else, because it's my time. I'm the most important. Social media, my emails and all could wait a little bit. And then I could do some yoga to take a break, or if I'm having a block, I take a walk. So that's what I do.
I love that. Love that. Thank you, Teresa. All right. What about you, Jeffrey? I know you said weights. I know you got your weights there. So
yeah, sometimes I might stretch. And if I just like, man, I ain't feeling this. Like, all right, we gotta get in the mood. I watch cartoons. Maybe my DC or some old school Bugs Bunny or something to relax. Like, all right, Time to go to work.
I love that.
Because I think today the world is 24-hour news cycle. We always be relax. Go laugh at something for a minute. Clear your mind.
Absolutely. No, I love that. I love watching cartoons. I've got quite a few, Disney movies, things like that I go back to. And I like to color, I think I've mentioned that in a few other segments. I like to just sit down, color, doodle, do things like that just to kind of, tap into that inner child, right? Because when we tap into that inner child, I think that's really when our creative juices start to flow. Because as a child, I mean, we had such the crazy imaginations, right?
Oh man!
Then you get older, I don't know.
I made wrestling men. I took on the foil, made belts. I take pins, take a box, some rubber bands, make a wrestling ring, and I do my own commentary. My family like, this boy doing this on WrestleMania. Like, I'm gonna tell you. They just start watching me. I'm my own little world. They're like, so how they gonna end the match? Like, what y'all doing? We watching you. I'm like, I'll be darned. They're like, we was watching WWF, but you had Clayman. I'm like, wow. I guess I do got a bit of imagination.
That's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. So let's talk about the mental discipline that, you have to have in creating a published book, right? I mean, what role does that mental discipline play in that writing process, and how do we learn how to cultivate it? Because I know I can have that squirrel mind, where it's like I get going and yeah, and then all of a sudden I'm over here, especially right now because there's so many different moving parts, right? So trying to sit down and really be disciplined, mentally. It can be quite difficult. So how do you learn to tap into that? We'll start with you, Teresa.
Okay. How do I tap into that? I think first off, I just set the time aside to do it because it's important. It doesn't always mean that the ideas are going to come, but it's important to sit there to write down whatever does come to your mind. And then you could always go back and put it into some sort of organization. Right now, I'm also in the process of writing a book proposal for my next book. And I look at it, I sit down and I say, okay, today I'm going to accomplish X, Y, and Z. I don't always. I really don't, because sometimes it's either a harder thing to tackle. It may be something that's not as interesting, but yet it's a part of what I have to do. And what I do is mentally, I say to myself, it doesn't have to be done today. Put down what you think, give yourself the ideas, and then take a fresh look at it tomorrow. So I think it's important too, when we're writing a book, not to wait until the last minute.
Right.
You can't just wait until, okay, I want my book to go out in April. And here you are in January trying to rush and create a book. Right. And that's not the way it works. You have to take more time. With that said, my book, Heal Your Heart from Within, actually was written very quickly because I felt that there was a lot of pressure in order to get that book out. It was originally published in 2020 under another name, and the publisher wasn't thrilled with the name because it had to do with a pandemic. And everybody felt that the pandemic would be over very quickly, and nobody wanted to call attention, I guess, again, to the elephant in the room. So I changed the name of it, and it got changed several times. So Heal Your Heart from Within is actually a revision of the first book, but I did it rather quickly, but I had the information because I had been using it with my patients. So it was like doing a nursing care plan. I had everything there. I could do it. Could I have done a better job? I'll be honest. Absolutely. I could have done a better job, but I thought it was important to get it out there. So I learned from that. It's a great thing to have your book published, and I learned from that. So the second time around, it's really important then to figure out how you want the book to really be, how you want the audience, what kind of audience are you really trying to attract? Because the first time around, truthfully, I wrote it for my patients. When the book got published, we used it in our practice. So it was a helpful tool. But second time around with a new book, I'm really looking at who are the people that could benefit from this? Who do I want my audience to be? What is my target audience? And how could I write the best that I can for that audience? So, the discipline, don't be hard on yourself. If it doesn't get done today, there's always tomorrow. Just don't give yourself the limit of, I'm going to write a book in 5 days, or I'm going to write a book in 30 days. Can it be done? Absolutely. But it may not be the very best that you could do. So give yourself plenty of time. Don't be hard on yourself. Show yourself the same compassion. And, if somebody else couldn't get something done, you would extend their deadline or whatever. So do the same thing with yourself. Again, set time aside for yourself. This is what I'm going to do. If the thoughts don't come to you, don't get upset. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Don't get afraid that you're not going to get it done. Go do something else. Then with fresh eyes, take a look at it either later in the day or the next day. Because what was it? Rome wasn't built in a day, and authors aren't built in a day either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We're going to go to you, Jeff.
All right. I first want to say I appreciate being up here with fellow authors. Pretty awesome. I was always taught you start something, you finish it. So I always keep that in mind, because it ain't got to be done in a day or in 2 days, but you will finish it. So don't think it's going to be sitting there collecting dust forever. You're going to get off your butt and get to work and knock it out. Right. And I think once you start getting that type of discipline, because when I wrote my first book, after I interviewed some great people that were Detroit authors, and I didn't know we had an author scene here. I wrote in like 3 weeks my first book, but I didn't want to put it out because I'm telling my business, like, oh, they're going to look at me. No. But, Lord, get on your head, start pulling your ear, put it out there, it's supposed to help people. And then my older brother was talking as he started watching my progression of doing the podcast and to doing all the stuff on the screen by my name. And he started telling me that, some people dream to write a book, but they never do it. To me, I'm thinking, all this technology, what's so hard about it? Just start writing it or dictation and publish it. And like some people are terrified to just put themselves out there. I'm like, wow, I never think about it like that. So it is an honor to put the words out there because you never know who you will affect. And with my first book, I'll share a story. A guy in the UK I was talking to, he was thinking about taking himself out. I attempted that back in high school, but I was never going to tell nobody. That's why I didn't put the book out. But when I put it out, he bought it. It blew me away when he told me, like, him seeing me go through that back then gave him a reason to keep going. I'm like, wow, now what if you didn't be obedient and put that book out? So they really started making me understand that as an author, it ain't about you. It's about putting out what you're led to put out there because you never know who it's going to affect for their benefit. So definitely do the work and diligence to make sure you're in the right mind to put them stories out because people need them in today, especially today's world.
They absolutely do. Good stuff. Ooh, I love this. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And I feel too, like with that mental discipline, sometimes you have to have an accountability partner or, you have to have that coach as well behind you, right? Because sometimes you just can't, there are certain people that just can't seem to get it together. They can't seem to get that time set. They just can't, so they need that person to be on them every day. Hey, did you take that 20 minutes today, to get that done? And even putting a date on it, even if you get to that date, and you feel like, you get to a point where you're like, oh, you know what, I probably not going to hit that date, then you go ahead and extend, some time. Like you said, give yourself some grace, right, Teresa? Because it does not have to be done right away. I mean, but if at least you give it a date, you're going to get it out there at least, by that date, or, maybe it might be sooner, maybe it might be a little bit later, but you're going to get it out there because you put that date on there. And definitely get you the notepads. I love what you said about that, because I have a notepad everywhere I go, just in case something does come up in my mind about, one of the projects I'm working on, or it might even be a project that's coming, right? It's just some like idea comes up in my head and I'm like, oh, that could be a book, right? And then I just write that down. And there's been so many times where I have, just come back to my notebooks. And now with the project that we're working on, Unsnapped, I'm able to go back to these things and I'm like, ooh, okay, this is why I wrote this down, and it may, some of this stuff is a couple years old, but it's amazing how.
I'll be right now. It's crazy.
Right? It's amazing how you're led to just, those thoughts. So
old school still work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard, so let's before we close up, everybody, let's give some of those authors out there, or some of those people that are out there that really want to share their story, and maybe they're just kind of sitting on that fence. They're ready to do it, but it's almost like that double Dutch, right? They want to jump in. Teresa, what's some words of encouragement that you can give some of some of these people, some of these individuals that really want to get out there and write and share their story?
I would say just do it. Now, just go out there, do it, put yourself out there. You really have nothing to lose. And when you think about it, I think we're more afraid of success than we are of failure. And when you write a book, are you going to be successful? There's a possibility, but very few authors, unless they're best-selling authors, really make a living off of their books. So I think the point is that you just go out there and you do it. You have nothing to lose. And now with self-publishing, you could self-publish a book if you'd like. There's plenty of publishing companies now that take unknown writers, unknown authors. So you're not limited anymore, where before it used to be traditional publishing houses or nothing. Now you could go out there. There's plenty of different venues that you could explore, that you could write for. You could do blogs. You could start with a blog. There's websites where people could blog, and you could do that. If you travel, you could do a travel blog. Whatever appeals to you. I think the best thing to do is just really go out there, try your hand at it, because you really have nothing to lose. What are you going to lose? You learn from I hate to call them mistakes, but you learn from maybe your shortcomings of the way you did something before. I know I learned a tremendous amount after my book, and it's a good book. I'm not knocking the book. It's a good book, and it's helped a lot of people, and I would encourage people to buy it. But there was a lot of learning lessons that went on that, I was more excited than ever after learning the lessons to get back out there and to do something again. So I encourage anybody that wants to write, if you want to start with a blog, if you want to start with even posts on Instagram, that's a great way to start. Short little posts, see what people have an interest in. If you're posting about cooking, see who has an interest in that. Has enough interest, then you take it further. If nobody has an interest in it at all, then think of something else. But go there, put yourself out. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on it, because unfortunately, there's quite a few, I don't even know if I could call them scams, but there's quite a few things that, even though they're legal, ethically, they're kind of in that gray area of people trying to charge other people a lot of money to help them out with things, or to get something published, or to get something to happen. So you have to know who you're dealing with when you go with those things. And I think for anybody looking for even things like anthologies to write a chapter, Tiffany, I know your publication, Own It, is reputable. So that would be even a place for people to start if they want to start with a chapter, if they want to write articles for a magazine. These are reputable. Own It is reputable. So you know that nobody's going to be taking advantage of you. They're going to encourage you, and they're going to help you along the way. So if you write something and it could be improved, there's editors that will say, perhaps you'd like to do it this way. So just go out there, do it, and be proud of yourself, whatever it is. Even if you write a one-liner for Instagram or Facebook, go out there, share your knowledge, share your opinions, which may not be that popular anymore, sharing opinions, but I think we need to get past that and just really be who you are and share what you know, because as Jeffrey said, you never know who you could help with a piece of knowledge, with something that you have done could be very important for somebody else.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. Jeffrey, words of wisdom, words of encouragement.
After publishing my fourth book recently, I would tell any aspiring author, it will change your life to write a book.
Absolutely.
It'll change your thought process, because something that you have within and you take the time to see it through. Even if you go through Amazon KDP or anybody else, you write up all of your stuff on your own book, your bylines on it, you do every little nook and cranny of it. When you're done with that process, you're going to feel very accomplished.
Right.
And you always got haters, but if you do got some, tell them, did you do that? Can I go buy your book for $5? Okay, stop talking to me. Sometimes you got to step out and let them know, like, back up off me. You didn't do what I did. I had an idea, and I actually was brave enough to make it a reality. In today's world, we're losing imagination because kids don't go outside. They don't play with Play-Doh and all that, just get creative. So there is a hunger for people to do podcasts now or write, because people want to hear those stories. And it's over 8 billion people. There's a lane for somebody, at least 100,000 million people that want to hear what you're talking about. But you got to have the courage to put it out there. And I know money ain't came quick, because we in the microwave society. Everything takes time. That's awesome. You just keep doing the work. And when it's your time, you will find your base. That money going to pile up. And you're going to look back like, wow. And all this started with, I had an idea to write about a guy walking his dog, for example. And I actually wrote it. And it did all this. So don't be scared of your greatness. Don't get it.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Great words of wisdom and encouragement, you guys. And look, there are so many people out there that can definitely help you to write a book. Teresa even mentioned with, our platform here with Own It Magazine and Publishing. Phoenix Fitness Fanatics is a part of Own It. We also have Girl Powerhouse Publishing as well under the umbrella. So there's a lot of individuals here on the platform that can help you and encourage you to get to the other side with that book. You just got to do it. And again, as Teresa said too, blogging is great, because you can take those blogs, and if you do choose to, be like a contributing writer, like these two for, Phoenix Fitness as well as Own It, you can take those blogs and you can make those articles and things like that. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you to show up in that way. So Teresa, how can they connect with you if they want to connect with you? They want to purchase your book. How can they do so?
Okay. My book can be purchased at Amazon.com, BalboaPress.com. Those are the two main ones. I do have a website which will be revamped, but it's still up and running. So the best, if you want to contact me, you simply go to contact me, and it's wellbeinggal.com, and it's at the bottom of the screen there. I'm also on Instagram. I had taken a little break from social media because personally there was a lot going on in my life over almost a 2-year period. So I'm only now kind of revamping things and coming back on social media. But I do answer all my emails if people have any questions, if there's anything that they would like to know, if there's any way I could help people out, I certainly will. Do I have events coming up? I'm going to jump the gun and say I may be having an international event coming up. I'm going to be speaking to someone about a conference that's going to be held in the spring. The person had contacted me and had expressed an interest in having me participate in this particular conference. And it would be about self-awareness and self-empowerment, which is a big part of self-care. So that may be coming up. Right now, no, except I don't have anything else that's specifically coming up. But you never know. There's always online summits. There's always different things that go on. So
that's right. So y'all got to just make sure that you connect with Teresa and you keep an eye out on the things that she's got going on. So, all right, we're going to move on to you, Jeffrey. Let everybody know how they can connect with you and work with you and what you got going on as well. What's up and coming?
They can go to my LinkedIn profile, Jeffrey Edwards. They can go to my Middle Ground with JLE Instagram account. For my books, it's already out. They're on Amazon.com, or you can go to my website. Forgot I got that, middlegroundwithjle.com. There's a link on there to click on books. It'll take you to Amazon. Right now, I'm getting back in the studio to work on my double disc album. Be 20 songs, 10 gospel, 10 all different genres. I'm working on my next book, Order of the 12th Intellect, political thriller. That's going to be a movie on Netflix at some point. If I got to get back to finishing it. Because I got to start blowing stuff up in the book. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. But we're going to love that one.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And one more thing that Jeffrey is also involved in is the Unsnapped anthology with the GPN Publishing. So we're excited as well. That will be coming out actually in March. So we are very, very, very excited. I cannot wait to share his story about staying calm, cool, and collected in today's crazy society.
Ooh, that's a fire right there for you, boy. It's a fire.
Well, everyone, I want to just thank you all for joining us today. If you want to see more of these two, as well as more of the other amazing contributing writers with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, definitely get your subscription. Go to PhoenixFitnessFanaticsMag2021.com and you can get a 12-month subscription for just $35, y'all. That is nothing for some amazing information that is going to elevate your mind, body, and spirit and help you to get physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit. So we love you so much, and we will definitely see y'all next time. Thank you guys for showing up today. Take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.